The world believed the greatest danger to Ibrahim Traoré would come from the outside. A foreign invasion. A drone strike from the sky. An economic chokehold planned in distant boardrooms. They were wrong. Because history has taught us one brutal truth. The deadliest weapon is never the enemy you see coming. It's the one standing next to you, smiling. It was 3 a.m. inside the presidential quarters. Rain slammed violently against the reinforced glass, each drop pounding like a war drum, drowning out every sound beyond the walls. Thunder rolled overhead, shaking the building like a warning from the sky itself. Inside, everything was still. Too still. Ibrahim Traoré lay on a simple cot placed inside his office, not a palace bedroom, not a luxury suite. Just a soldier's resting place. His uniform was neatly folded nearby. His boots were still on. He hadn't slept in 30 hours. Meetings. Intelligence briefings. Threat reports. Decisions that could determine the fate of millions. The weight of a nation does not allow rest. But even when exhaustion claws at the body, a true soldier's instincts never fully shut down. And tonight, those instincts would save his life. Before we go any further, pause for a second. What time is it where you are right now? Which country are you watching from? Drop it in the comments, and hit like and subscribe to join the Commander Ibrahim Traoré Nation, because stories like this are only just beginning. Outside the heavy oak door, the hallway was supposed to be the safest place in Africa. Every camera active. Every checkpoint sealed. Every guard vetted. And standing there was Lieutenant Caleb. Not just a guard. A brother. They had trained together in brutal heat. Starved together in the bush. Bled together in combat zones where survival depended on trust. Ibrahim trusted Caleb with his life. With his secrets. With his back. But tonight, Caleb wasn't standing guard. He was checking his watch. The hallway cameras had been looped 10 minutes earlier. A technical glitch, the reports would say later. Caleb touched his earpiece. Sector clear, he whispered. It sounded routine. Professional. But that message wasn't for palace security. It was for a ghost team, waiting 2 miles away inside an unmarked van. Caleb stared at the door handle. His hand didn't shake. This wasn't his first betrayal. He had killed men for less money than what was already sitting safely in an offshore account under a false name. With calm precision, he slid a stolen master key card into the panel, one he'd lifted from the head of security during a friendly dinner. The light turned green. No alarm. No beep. Just a soft mechanical click, swallowed by thunder. Caleb slipped inside like smoke. No rifle. No noise. Instead, he pulled out a compact suppressed pistol. The plan was clean. 2 shots to the chest. 1 to the head. Then staged the scene: heart attack, suicide, exhaustion. The foreign backers had already written the script. Caleb just had to perform. The room was dark, lit only by the faint glow of a laptop screen. On the cot lay Ibrahim Traoré. Back turned. Unmoving. Exposed. Caleb raised the weapon. Took a breath. Aimed for the center of the figure's back. "Sorry, brother," he whispered. "But everyone has a price." His finger tightened. Milliseconds from rewriting African history. Then, lightning exploded across the room. And something was wrong. The breathing stopped. Too suddenly. The shape on the bed didn't look right. And then, from the darkest corner behind Caleb came a sound that froze his blood solid. Click. The unmistakable sound of a pistol slide being racked. "You're holding that gun wrong, Caleb." Caleb spun around, heart slamming against his ribs like a caged animal. He fired blindly. The bullet buried itself in the wall. The bed. It wasn't a body. Just pillows under a thick wool blanket. A decoy. Ibrahim Traoré had never been asleep. He sat in a leather chair in the shadows, pistol steady in his hand. Not afraid. Not shocked. Just disappointed. "I taught you better than that," Ibrahim said quietly. "You checked the corners, but you didn't check the shadows." Caleb's hands began to shake. The element of surprise was gone. And in a fair fight, he knew the truth. Ibrahim Traoré wasn't a politician in a suit. He was a commando. A man who had eaten dust, blood, and danger for breakfast. "Put it down," Ibrahim ordered. "Don't make me paint the walls with my own brother's blood." Thunder cracked again. The silence was suffocating. Caleb panicked. Instead of dropping the gun, he raised it. "It's too late," he screamed. "I can't stop it." "Bad move." Ibrahim exploded from the chair. 2 strides. A violent slap to Caleb's wrist. Bone snapped. The gun clattered across the floor. A knee to the stomach. A grip on the collar. Caleb slammed into the wall as frames rattled violently. "Who bought you?" Ibrahim roared, forearm crushing Caleb's throat. "The French? The Americans? Or did you sell your soul for a suitcase of cash?" Caleb clawed for air. It wasn't money," he gasped. "They have the codes. The shifts. They know everything." Ibrahim loosened his grip just enough. Caleb wasn't the mastermind. Just the pawn. "You think killing me saves you?" Ibrahim hissed. "No," Caleb whispered. "But if I didn't do it quietly, they'd do it loud." Then. Static cut through the room. Caleb's earpiece. A cold, distorted voice. Echo 1. "Report. Is the target neutralized? You have 30 seconds, or we breach with heavy fire." They weren't days away. They were seconds away. Ibrahim picked up the earpiece. Then looked at Caleb. "Get up," he said calmly. "You wanted to be part of the plan." He pressed the device to Caleb's lips. "One wrong word, and I won't need a bullet. Tell them the job is done." Caleb swallowed. Pressed the button. "Target is down," he said. "Room secured. No resistance." Silence. Then. "Copy that. Extraction team moving. ETA 2 minutes." The line went dead. Ibrahim didn't smile. "They don't leave witnesses," Caleb whispered. "Neither do I," Ibrahim replied. He opened a hidden wall panel. Weapons. Armor. Flashbangs. He tossed a vest to Caleb. "Put it on. You're not going to kill me." "Not yet," Ibrahim said, loading an AK-47. "Right now, you're bait." He tapped his smartwatch. A silent alert went out. Not to compromised guards. But to his personal shadow unit. The Black Cobras. And the real fight was just about to begin. They were loyal only to him. Not to ranks. Not to politics. Not to money. They slept in the basement barracks beneath the palace, weapons beside their beds, waiting for a nightmare exactly like this. Within seconds, a hidden service door slid open behind the office. Sergeant Mosa stepped inside. A giant of a man. Scars carved across his arms like battle maps. Loyalty running deeper than blood. He didn't ask questions. He didn't hesitate. He saw the gun in Ibrahim's hand. The traitor shaking in the chair. The bodies on the floor. And he understood everything. Status. Mosa asked. We have guests, Ibrahim replied, and killed the lights. The room plunged into total darkness. 6 to 8 tangos, Ibrahim continued calmly. Main corridor. They think I'm dead. They think Caleb is waiting to congratulate them. Ibrahim dragged Caleb to the center of the room and forced him into a chair, directly facing the door. Sit, he whispered into his ear. When that door opens, you smile. You move, you die. You scream, you die. Caleb nodded, barely breathing. Ibrahim and Mosa melted into the shadows on either side of the entrance. Invisible. Silent. Deadly. The trap was set. Then came the footsteps. Heavy. Confident. Unafraid. They weren't sneaking anymore. Why would they? They believed the palace was already theirs. The footsteps stopped. The handle turned. Metal grinding slowly against metal. The door creaked open. A silhouette stepped inside, scanning the darkness through night vision goggles. He saw Caleb. Relaxed. Lowered his rifle. Didn't check the corners. Easy money, the mercenary muttered. He had no idea he'd walked straight into a lion's den. And the lion was wide awake. Before he could take another step, Mosa exploded from the shadows. Like a panther. He grabbed the rifle barrel, forcing it upward just as the mercenary pulled the trigger. Bang! The bullet ripped into the ceiling. Plaster rained down like snow. The silence shattered. Chaos erupted. Ibrahim didn't hesitate. As Mosa wrestled the lead attacker, 2 more figures poured through the doorway. They saw Caleb. They raised their weapons. Too late. Ibrahim slid across the polished floor. 2 shots. Pop pop. The first mercenary collapsed. The second spun around in panic, and Ibrahim was already there. A brutal kick sent the rifle flying. The butt of the pistol smashed into the man's jaw. Lights out. In less than 10 seconds, it was over. 3 elite killers lay bleeding on the floor. The invincible hit squad had walked straight into a buzzsaw. Ibrahim stood up slowly, adjusting his uniform. Not like a politician who had survived an assassination. Like a soldier who had just cleared a bunker. Search him, he ordered. Mosa ripped open the lead mercenary's vest. No flags. No ID. Just thick stacks of American dollars. And a satellite phone. It buzzed. The harsh blue light filled the room. Caller ID, the architect. Caleb looked up in terror. Don't answer it, boss, he whispered. They'll track it. They'll send a drone. Ibrahim stared at the phone. If he didn't answer, they'd know the mission failed. If he did, he was declaring war. He answered. He didn't speak. He listened. Report, the voice demanded. Smooth. Educated. Arrogant. Not a soldier. The kind of man who orders deaths from an air-conditioned office. Is Traore dead? The voice asked. Did you secure the laptop? Ibrahim's blood ran cold. He knew that voice. He had heard it last week, laughing, drinking tea, smiling at a diplomatic summit. Not a general. Not a rebel. A guest of the state. Ibrahim spoke. Slow. Heavy. Your men are sleeping, he said. But I'm wide awake. A sharp gasp. Then. Click. The line went dead. Ibrahim crushed the phone in his hand. We have a problem, he said darkly. The enemy isn't outside the gates. He's sitting in the capital. Mosa cocked his rifle. Orders, sir. Lock down the palace. No, Ibrahim said, stepping over unconscious bodies. Locking down is for victims. We hunt. He turned to Caleb. You owe me a life. Grab a weapon. Tonight, we visit an old friend. Then. The sirens wailed. Red emergency lights flooded the corridor. The architect hadn't just hung up. He'd triggered Plan B. The building shook violently. Bomb! Mosa shouted. But Ibrahim ran to the window. This wasn't a bomb. The palace gates were being rammed open by an armored truck. Behind it, black SUVs poured into the compound. The assassination attempt was over. The coup had begun. Gunfire tore into the outer walls. Glass exploded like jagged diamonds. Sir, bunker. Now. Mosa yelled. Ibrahim checked his pistol. Fresh magazine. Calm eyes. Panic rooms are for rats, he said. We are lions. And lions don't hide. He turned to Caleb. You know the West Wing. Is the service elevator active? Caleb hesitated. It goes to the kitchen basement, it's a dead end. Ibrahim smiled. It's a choke point. They moved. Ibrahim in front. Mosa covering the rear. Caleb trying not to die. They sprinted through gilded hallways past portraits of former presidents. Men who had fled. Ibrahim didn't look at them. He wasn't running. He was repositioning. They turned a corner. Contact. Mosa roared. 3 mercenaries opened fire. The hallway became hell. Bullets sliced past Ibrahim's ear. He dropped to one knee. 2 controlled shots. 1 attacker down. Mosa unleashed suppressive fire. Caleb fired blindly, but it bought them seconds. Move! Ibrahim ordered. They reached the service elevator. Ibrahim hit the button. Nothing. Power cut. They killed the grid. Caleb shouted. We're trapped. Ibrahim looked at the wall. A heavy fire extinguisher. Mosa. Mosa understood instantly. He swung it like a battering ram. Bang! Metal groaned. Again. Bang! The doors pried open just a few inches. Behind them. Footsteps. Shouting. Reloading clicks. They were seconds away from being overrun. And the only thing between survival and death was a gap in steel. And a lion who refused to kneel. Mosa jammed his massive fingers into the narrow gap between the elevator doors. He roared, veins bulging in his neck, muscles screaming in protest as raw force bent steel. The doors finally gave way. They slipped inside the dark shaft just as a hail of bullets exploded against the closing metal. Sparks flew. They were safe. For now. They slid down the cables into the suffocating darkness of the basement. Concrete hit hard beneath their boots. Ibrahim raised a fist. Silence. The air smelled of damp earth, old oil, rusted pipes. But beneath it all. Another scent. Sharp. Expensive. Cologne. Ibrahim's jaw tightened. This wasn't a soldier's hiding place. This was a command center. He motioned for Mosa to stay back. Moving like a shadow, Ibrahim crept toward the boiler room. No sound. No wasted movement. Through a crack in the door, he saw him. A man in a pristine gray suit. Seated calmly on a wooden crate. A tablet glowing in his hands. Watching the live feed of the palace assault. Smiling. It was General D.O.P. His own uncle. The man who had sworn on a Bible, just 2 months ago, to defend the Constitution. The architect wasn't a stranger. He was family. DOP tapped his earpiece. Flush them out, he ordered. Burn the wing if you have to. I want Traore's body before sunrise. Ibrahim stepped back into the shadows. The betrayal didn't rage. It froze. Colder than any bullet. Caleb whispered, shaken. General DOP, but he raised you. Ibrahim's voice was empty. He raised me, he said. And now, he's going to bury me. They were outnumbered. 5-1 in the basement. An army upstairs. No backup. No rescue. No cavalry coming. Ibrahim reached out. Radio. Mosa hesitated. Sir. Give it to me. Ibrahim took the walkie-talkie. But he didn't call for help. He switched frequencies. To the open channel. The one connected to the palace-wide PA system. He pressed the button. And his voice boomed through every speaker. Hallways. Courtyard. Barracks. And straight into the boiler room. General DOP froze. For the first time that night. Fear crossed his face. Ibrahim wasn't planning to escape the basement. He was going to turn it into a tomb. But first. He had to make a choice. One that would either save his country. Or end his life in fire. Find him. DOP screamed at his guards. He's bluffing. He's just one man. But Ibrahim wasn't bluffing. From the darkness, he raised his pistol. Not at his uncle. But at the rusted pressure valve above DOP's head. He fired. Clang. The valve shattered. A jet of superheated steam exploded into the room like a white dragon. Guards screamed. Vision vanished. The space filled with scalding fog. Gunfire erupted blindly. Bullets ricocheted off pipes. Now. Ibrahim shouted. Mosa kicked the door in. He charged like a bull. The first mercenary hit the wall before he even understood what happened. Ibrahim moved through the steam like a phantom. He didn't run. He flowed. A strike to the throat. A sweep to the legs. 10 seconds. That's all it took. The elite squad lay groaning on the floor. General DOP stumbled back, coughing, pistol shaking in his hands. Stay back, Ibrahim, he screamed. I'll do it. I'll kill you. Ibrahim stepped out of the white mist. Soot-stained. Calm. Unflinching. He walked straight into the barrel of the gun. Then gently pushed it down. You can't kill me, uncle, he said quietly. You already died. You died the moment you sold our country to men who don't even know your name. DOP collapsed. The gun slipped from his fingers. They promised peace, he sobbed. They promised. Control, Ibrahim corrected. There's a difference. Mosa secured the room. Caleb stood in the doorway, rifle raised. Do we finish him, boss? One bullet. No loose ends. Ibrahim looked at DOP. Then at Caleb. No. A bullet makes him a martyr. He hauled DOP to his feet. We're going upstairs. The sun is rising. I want the people to see who was hiding in the dark. Minutes later. The palace doors swung open. The courtyard was packed. Tanks. Soldiers. Black SUVs. They were waiting for a body bag. They got something else. Ibrahim Traoré stepped into the morning light. Dragging General DOP by his tie. He threw him onto the steps like trash. The courtyard froze. Mercenaries reached for weapons. Then stopped. Because of Ibrahim's eyes. Unarmed. Alone. Facing an army. This, Ibrahim roared, is your leader. He wanted to sell your soil. Trade your future for a penthouse in Paris. He looked at the young soldiers. Boys who joined to protect families. Not foreign interests. You have a choice. Serve the man who hides in basements. Or stand with the brother who bleeds beside you. A heartbeat. Then another. Rifles lowered. A tank turret turned. Pointed at the SUVs. The mercenaries ran. The coup collapsed. Not by bullets. By truth. That night, the palace was quiet. Traitors in cells. Glass swept away. The world called it a miracle. Caleb stood at attention. I'm ready for my sentence, sir. I deserve the wall. Ibrahim nodded. You do. But you also chose a side. He tossed Caleb his badge. You don't get to die. You're going to live. And earn every breath. Caleb saluted. Left. Ibrahim stood at the window. The capital lights shimmered. Safe. For now. They'll come again, Mosa said. Ibrahim smiled. A tired, dangerous smile. I know. Let them. We're not sleeping anymore. Because sometimes, the hardest war isn't fought on a battlefield. It's fought in silence. Against the people you trusted most.